James Harper stepped through his front door, the lock clicking shut behind him with a satisfying snap. Home. The one place where he could shed his prosecutor's armor. No courtrooms, no legal battles, just the quiet hum of his sanctuary. He tossed his briefcase onto the kitchen counter, the leather thudding against marble. Loosening his tie, he rolled his shoulders, feeling the day's tension begin to slip away. Another case won, another victory in the books. Routine, but the courtroom's intensity still lingered like a tight knot in his chest. He grabbed a glass, filled it with water, and took a sip, savoring the calm. Or so he thought. A loud knock shattered the silence. Not a neighborly tap, but a forceful, impatient pounding that screamed trouble. James's brow furrowed. He wasn't expecting anyone. Instincts honed from years of prosecuting kicked in, a gut feeling that something was off. He moved to the door, rolling up his sleeves, and peered through the peephole. Two men stood on his porch, dressed in stiff black uniforms, clipboards in hand, faces set in grim determination. Not cops, but trying hard to look the part. James opened the door, leaning casually against the frame, his sharp eyes scanning them. The taller one, a lanky guy with a thin mustache, cleared his throat. Mr. Harper? James didn't respond immediately. He crossed his arms, sizing them up. Cheap black polos with HOA enforcement stitched on the chest, wrinkled slacks, and plastic badges that screamed dollar store knockoff. Depends, James said, his voice smooth but guarded. Who's asking? The shorter, stockier man stepped forward, puffing out his chest like he was about to make an arrest. We're with the HOA compliance unit, he declared. We've received complaints about violations on your property. You need to vacate immediately for an inspection. James blinked, then let out a slow, disbelieving laugh. The audacity was almost comical. Yeah, no, he said, shaking his head. That's not happening. The tall one's jaw tightened. You don't have a choice, he snapped, stepping closer. Per HOA regulations, if an owner refuses to cooperate, they can be forcibly removed. Pack your things and step outside. James's amusement faded. This wasn't just absurd, it was illegal. As a prosecutor who dismantled countless eviction scams, he knew their game. His posture straightened, his voice dropping to a low, controlled tone that made defendants squirm. You must be out of your minds, he said, each word deliberate. If you think I'm leaving my own house because you slapped on fake badges and decided you're the law. The stocky guy bristled, stepping up with more heat. Wrong move, he growled. Leave voluntarily or we'll escalate this. James tilted his head, his eyes narrowing like a predator sizing up prey. A slow burn of anger coiled in his chest, not the yelling kind, but the kind that made him dangerous. Go ahead, he said, his voice icy. Escalate it. The two men exchanged a glance, their confidence flickering. They weren't expecting resistance. Then they made their fatal mistake. The stocky one reached for his belt, pulling out a citation notice, with a bold eviction stamp. He thrust it forward like it was a court order. You have 10 minutes to leave, he barked. James snatched the paper, holding it to the light. One glance confirmed it, pure garbage. No legal header, no court seal, just a cheap printout. He exhaled, half laughing, half disgusted. This, he said, waving the paper, is fraud. The stocky guy's jaw twitched. I'd watch those accusations, he warned, his voice wavering. James stepped closer, his presence commanding. You think you can roll up to my house, flash fake authority, and scare me out? His tone was almost amused, but his eyes were lethal. You know what I do for a living? Silence. The air grew heavy. I'm a prosecutor, he said, his voice ablade. I put people like you in prison. The taller one froze, licking his lips nervously. Look, Mr. Harper, we're just... James cut him off. You're running a scam, and you're about to pay for it. He pulled out his phone, the camera rolling. Smile, boys. You're on video. Panic set in. The stocky guy lunged for the phone, a desperate swing. Big mistake. James moved like lightning, catching the man's wrist in a fluid, controlled motion. He leaned in, his voice a dangerous whisper. You just assaulted a government official. You have no idea how badly you screwed up. The taller one fumbled with a fake radio, pressing buttons like he was calling backup. James smirked, turning the camera toward him. Go ahead. Call your dispatch. Let's see who answers. Before the man could respond, sirens wailed. Red and blue lights flashed down the street. Real cops. The scammers' faces drained of color as a squad car pulled up. 2 officers stepped out, their eyes scanning the scene, James calm and composed, the fake cops, sweating and twitchy. The taller scammer stammered. This is a misunderstanding. James lowered his phone, slipping it into his pocket. Really? He said, raising an eyebrow. I've got it all recorded. You tried to evict me, assaulted me, and impersonated law enforcement. Shall I go on? The officers didn't need more. IDs? One demanded. The scammers froze, their lies crumbling. You're under arrest, the officer said, stepping forward. Impersonating law enforcement, attempted fraud. The stocky one's mouth fell open. Arrest? James's smirk widened. You wanted escalation, he said. Here it is. The cuffs clicked shut, the Miranda rights echoing as the scammers were led to the squad car. The taller one twisted back, spitting. This isn't over. James chuckled. No, it's not, he said, locking eyes. I'll be prosecuting your case. The car door slammed, and they were gone. Days later, James sat at his desk, a thick case file open before him. Criminal impersonation, fraud, unlawful eviction, assault, the charges piled high. The mugshots clipped to the file showed 2 broken men, their fake authority stripped away. They'd preyed on fear, banking on people folding under pressure. But they picked the wrong house. James signed the prosecution order, his pen a final nail in their coffin. Some cases drag on. This one? A rare gem that solved itself. What do you think? Were these scammers just desperate, or was this a calculated con? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's debate. Is it ever okay to bend the truth to get ahead, or should the law always come down hard? Hit that like button, subscribe, and share your take. We're reading every comment.